How's everybody doing? Okay, I hope. Sure miss seeing you folks week after week, but it's good to be with you again today. So nice to be with you today. I've got some special news for you. That is that Merlene Myers, one of the best piano players I've ever met in my whole life, Merlene is going to be here to play for us today, and so I know you're excited about that. Yeah. By the way, I got one quick joke to tell you. A horse walked into a bar and the bartender said, "Why the long face?" A what? No bar joke because it's a church? Oh, okay. Well, then moving right along, let's hear from Merlene. I was in my dorm room in seminary one night, and I don't remember exactly what I was doing. I'm sure I was doing something very spiritual, like studying the Bible or praying or reading some of the great theologians like Barth and Tillich and Schleiermacher. No, really, that's what I was doing, I'm sure. One of my friends came in and said, "Hey, Ro, look what they've come up with now." He held up a large bottle of Listerine, plastic bottle, Listerine mouthwash. He said, "Can you believe it? Look, it says new shatterproof bottle. It's unbreakable. Check it out." And he let it go. The bottle hit my tile floor and it did not shatter. It did not break, but it did split open at the seam, and a puddle, a pool, a pond, an ocean of Listerine cascaded across my floor, and the aroma of Listerine filled my room. We cleaned it up, but the strong, eye-watering odor lingered for months. But at least my floor didn't have any problems with plaque or gingivitis after that. It was not the smell of Listerine, but instead it was the sweet fragrance of expensive perfume that permeated the house where Jesus was dining one night. A woman named Mary does a wonderful thing. 6 days before Passover, Jesus went back to Bethany, where he had raised Lazarus from death. A special dinner had been prepared for Jesus. Martha was doing the serving and Lazarus was there. Mary took a very expensive bottle of perfume and poured it on the feet of Jesus. She wiped his feet with her hair, and the sweet fragrance of perfume filled the house. Glance through the chapter before this one, John chapter 11, you'll find that religious authorities have decided to hunt Jesus down and have him executed. By chapter 12, Jesus is a fugitive, a wanted man who will soon be cruelly crucified. So our text describes one of the last meals Jesus will ever eat. Did you notice the text refers to it as a special meal? Because he surrounded himself with some of his dearest friends. By the end of the week, Jesus will die. You follow me so far? What Mary does seems so right. During the meal, Mary kneels behind Jesus and breaks open a flask of expensive perfume and pours all of it upon the feet of Jesus. And then she uses her beautiful long hair to dry his feet. How personal, how intimate, how caring this is. And how generous. If so, the contents of that flask would bring something like $54,000, several years' wages in those days. Some of you here may remember how we used to sprinkle clothes before ironing. Some of you remember ironing, I guess. We'd use a bottle with a stopper that had a bunch of tiny holes in it to keep the liquid from coming out too fast. Mary, in a burst of grateful generosity, pulls the stopper out of the container and she pours the entire content upon the tired, aching feet of the Master. And she stoops to dry his feet with her hair. In the midst of the baddest of bad times, Mary finds something good to do. It helps Mary to feel better, to give. Jesus is so moved by her caring that at the end of the text, he praises Mary out loud. I wish I had written down a quote that I heard lately. It goes something like this: when bad times come, find something good to do. In the midst of these discouraging times, these days of anxiety and social distancing, find something good to do. Find a way to offer encouragement to another. They will feel better, and so will you. I recently heard some sociologist report on her research saying that we human beings are, and I'm quoting her now, neurobiologically hardwired to be in connection with other people. She went on to say that in these troubling times, millions of people feel vulnerable and alone, and because of that, they feel miserable. An article in Atlantic Monthly reports, just as human beings have a basic need for food and shelter, we also have a basic need to connect, to belong, to form relationships. The desire to be in a loving relationship motivates our thoughts, our actions, our feelings, our attitudes, our moods. We're all feeling a little gloomy and depressed lately. Since we are neurobiologically hardwired, I just threw that in so you think that I'm smart. Since we are neurobiologically hardwired to crave connection with other people, there is something you can do for yourself. You can follow the example of Mary and do something good for another. Oh, it's easy to do nothing about these disheartening times except mope. In fact, it's too easy to do nothing. But that's not how we Christians respond. We Christians talk about walking the second mile and rescuing the perishing, and all to Jesus we surrender, and taking up the cross and rising up, O saints of God, have done with lesser things, with heart and mind and soul and strength, to serve the King of Kings. Examples? Oh, I got several. A 95-year-old woman I know recently had to move into assisted living. It was about a week before the virus hit. She had to give up her home and her car and her church choir and her Sunday school class and the church women's group. She had to give it all up. Because she is widowed, she did not know what she would do about moving some furniture from her home into a new assisted living apartment. But one morning, a dozen church members showed up with pickups and SUVs and got her moved. And when things were in place in your new apartment and the bed assembled and clothes hanging in the closet, everyone held hands and prayed, and she beamed with gratitude. If you'd ask any one of those people, what was it like to do something good in what was beginning to feel like a bad time for her with all this change? If you'd ask any one of them, was it worth the effort? Each one of them would smile and say, oh, we were the ones. We were the ones. who were blessed. Other examples of finding something good to do in these bad times. Did you see the picture of the kid standing outside the window of a nursing home playing tic-tac-toe on the window glass with delighted residents inside the nursing home? Or on nextdoor.com, I saw a post by a man offering to go shopping for groceries for anyone who was confined to their home. And not only would he deliver the groceries, he would pay for them. Or some of you saw the email by the delighted Walnut church member in self-quarantine who ran out of eggs, and so did the grocery store. And those eggs kind of became for her a symbol of frustration. But when she mentioned that online, another church member showed up on her front porch with a dozen eggs from some chickens that she and her husband are raising. Or folks at a local nursing home who told me about a bouquet of spring flowers that add such vibrant color and joy to the lobby. They told me these were sent, these flowers, this beautiful bouquet, sent by a woman from Mason. None of us even know her. She drives by here from time to time, and she realized that we must be feeling pretty lonely and isolated, and she had those flowers delivered here, even though no one she knows lives here. She just wanted to lift our spirits. And she did. It's not complicated. Think of something good to do. Think of something nice to do for someone. And do it. A pastor was waiting in a hospital lobby for someone to get out of surgery. Over a couple hours' time, he ended up sitting next to two different people in that lobby, each one leaving the hospital with a broken leg. Each one sitting next to him in the lobby, waiting for their ride. The first one said, "Well, I have to be on crutches for the next several weeks." On crutches. What a rotten situation this is. My life is a mess. The second man said, "Oh, praise God, I get to go home today. Praise God for my friends and family who care about me. I can hardly wait to get home and write cards and notes to people who have prayed for me and people who have contacted me. My life is just filled with blessings." Two identical men, identical situation, so much happier because he chose the wiser response. In the midst of a lonely and bad time for Jesus, Mary came to kneel at his feet and lavish upon him her love. Love is always stronger than fear. There are several people in your life whom you could encourage right now. In the midst of bad times, won't you think of something good to do for another? When times are bad, find something good to do. Or like that hymn says, look all around you, find someone in need. Help somebody today. Though it be little, a neighborly deed. Help somebody today. Many are waiting a kind, loving word. Help somebody today. Thou hast a message. Oh, let it be heard. Help somebody today. Lord God, in the midst of these uncertain times, help us to cling to the certainty that is your love. Lord, in the midst of these bad times, help us remember that we are your church. We are your people. And in the midst of these bad times, help us to find something good to do for one another. Lord God, lead us, guide us, guard us, inspire us. Amen.